The French Revolution has great historical significance. Before the Revolution, royalty and the aristocracy were central to Western European society. But afterward, the citizenry gained ascendancy and came to hold great power. This laid the foundation of modern societies that persists to this day. While the revolution led to individual ability being valued more highly than birth or origin, that change in attitude came at the cost of much bloodshed. So why did this social upheaval occur? It was due to the difficult times preceding the revolution. Poor harvests caused by bad weather and wasteful spending by the crown and the aristocracy had made life hard for the common people. In this milieu, the philosophy that would later become the driving force behind the revolution arose. The Enlightenment, which came into being in the 18th century, emphasized human reason and rational values while opposing traditional authority. At that time, the French people were divided into three estates, the first and second estates being exempt from taxation, while the third estate was not. The Enlightenment criticized this old social system because it allowed a privileged few to enjoy a monopoly on rights and status. King Louis XVI bore the brunt of the criticism. With the state's finances in a precarious state, Louis convened the Estates General and demanded that the privileged classes also be taxed. Unsurprisingly, the aristocrats opposed this, while the citizens insisted that only they truly represented the nation. As a result, a National Assembly was established, led by the Third Estate of Citizens, who began to formulate a new constitution. Louis XVI attempted to discourage the citizens, but this led to further uprising. With the people storming of the Bastille prison, the French Revolution began. The National Assembly was responsible for two major accomplishments. The first was the abolition of feudalism. Although this led to the abolishment of the serfs' subordinate relationship to the lords, the abolished feudal land rents were replaced by a paid-for proposition, leaving the serfs still unable to own their own lands. The National Assembly's second accomplishment was the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen. This set forth the universal rights of humankind as the basis for a modern civil society. There were uprisings by the citizens, including the women of Paris. Discontented and suffering from food shortages, a group of citizens went to Versailles and forced the king and his family to accompany them to a palace in Paris to be watched over. Louis XVI felt threatened by these people and secretly sought to regain control. Louis fled to Austria and planned to return to France with an army faithful to the crown. However, the plan failed, and the king was recaptured and taken back to Paris. Meanwhile, neighboring countries, fearing that the revolution would spread to their people, declared that they would suppress the revolution by military force. This situation led to a fierce debate in France about how to counter the foreign powers. The National Assembly then enacted the Constitution of 1791. Although France's first codified constitution, it remained relatively conservative in nature. While the Constitution emphasized liberalism and popular sovereignty, it also granted the king the power of veto over Parliament and gave only those citizens who paid a certain amount of tax the right to vote. At this time, a legislative assembly was formed to enact laws. The Girondists, who wanted a moderate republic, took control of the assembly, and it was decided that war would be declared against the foreign power. However, the people of France were in a difficult position because of continued defeats by those powers.